Now, this may be one of the most legitimate leaks I've ever been passed through the DMs over on Twitter. And when I say legitimate, there's still air quotations on that because there's still a pretty high likely chance that these past 3 videos of months of supposed leaks that I've been covering are gonna turn out to be a load of horse shit. But with that being said, in this video, let's discuss some potential leaked lines of dialogue from the up-and-coming Game of Thrones Season 8 trailer. Now, this person has mentioned that the trailer is going to be just under 3 minutes, and that it's going to release sometime during the month of December, most likely close to Christmas, as a last-minute gift from HBO. As always, these videos are to be taken with a grain of salt, but nonetheless, here's a spoiler warning. Before we get started, please slap a like on this, as the like goal is going to be 429. Also, make sure you're subscribed, and then make sure you have your notifications turned on so that way you get alerted every single time I drop a Game of Thrones video throughout this long night. Also, consider checking out my storefront at Teespring and grabbing some Sir Hunt's swag. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have been giving 5 lines of dialogue that are supposedly going to take place sometime during this up-and-coming trailer. Now, I will say that for the longest time, most of us have speculated that for sure by Christmas, we will have something, because at that point, it's going to be almost January, and then Game of Thrones is set to be coming out within a few short months. So it makes sense around the timing of the new shows that they're starting and ending on HBO for them to release a trailer for Game of Thrones Season 8 around this time. Now, this person claims the trailer comes in just under 3 minutes, which in my opinion that would be awesome, because most of the trailers that we got for season 7 were just under 2 minutes. So if we're getting that long or that amount of footage, I expect this season to be spectacular, like we all do. But jumping into this, the lines of dialogue were not given names to who says them, but in this video we're going to kind of pick apart, see how believable they are, and then assign a name to each one of them. So the first one, and I'm just assuming the order or the list that I was sent these in are the order they appear in the trailer, but the first line states, "I can't believe you would do such a thing. Our house depended on you." Now, as soon as I initially first read that line before making this video, I was like, okay, that's Cersei. And then I tried to, brainstorm and try to figure out what makes me think that was Cersei. And that's because she said a very line similar to this to Jaime and to Tyrion last season. So if we're continuing along with that theme of Cersei being the greatest threat to Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen, then it would make sense for them to open up the trailer with her mentioning something to, whether this is to Jaime, or maybe it's to Tyrion, or maybe we don't really get to see who she says it to, but that line of, "I can't believe you would do such a thing. Our house depended on you." There is no way that any other person, aside from maybe Sansa, that would say a line like that. You guys let me know what you think down below, if you think this line is Cersei, and if you think the Season 8 trailer is going to open up with Cersei, because aside from the Night King, she's the greatest threat to Jon and Daenerys. And to be honest, the Night King, we already kind of know how that plan of attack is going to go down. You take him out and the rest of the army of the dead fall. So their major threat is Cersei, Euron, and potentially the Golden Company. Now, the next line is actually pretty short, but it came with a little bit of side information, and it goes as follows. "Those who can't fight, take." Now, they mentioned that this is the part of the trailer where things really start to pick up. Now, they mentioned that they are pretty positive about who says the rest of the lines, but they didn't want to tell me that because they figured that'd be too spoiler. But for this line, they said the voice astoundingly sounds very similar to Littlefinger. Now, take from that what you will, but that, in my opinion, sort of kind of goes along with the, ideology of Littlefinger on the TV show, which is he's not a fighter. He kind of has to take what's his through other means, sort of through backstabbing people, playing the Game of Thrones, if you will. Now, obvious red flags there, because we do know that Littlefinger definitely had his throat slit by Arya last season, although there is a somewhat popular theory that, he paid this faceless girl, she took his place, and that's who died in this scene, and Littlefinger is still alive out there running around waiting to ride that ladder of chaos up to the top. But I don't really know. I mean, it's not completely out of question to have other characters who have passed away on the show have a line in the trailer, sort of like a line foreshadowing a dialogue. We have had something similar to that with fan-made trailers with Ned Stark and Arya. Now, I will say once again that these leaks are most likely a load of shit, but aside from Littlefinger, the only really person that I know that talks slowly and sort of creepily on the TV show, similar to Littlefinger, is pretty much every single second-tier character. Varys, Tyrion, they've all had some sort of line where they deliver it super creepy, and they can sound similar to Peter Baelish's accent, because it's kind of a mix of a bunch of different ones. So it could be possible that in this person's preview of the trailer, they just assumed that line was Littlefinger. But if it isn't, another option could very well be Varys or Davos. Then just sort of moving things along here, we have the third line, and this states, "It has been a long journey, and this time, there's no coming back." Now, we don't even need to spend that much time on this one either. That's clearly either Jon Snow or someone in his party that maybe ventured north of the wall with him. In my opinion, Jon Snow is one of the few characters who you can say has had a long actual journey and not just, sort of repetitive storytelling where they kind of stay in the same place, do the same actions, make the same mistakes, but then ultimately come through it. Jon Snow is one of the characters who has been through an insanely long journey alongside Daenerys and many, many others. But you also have to remember that Jon is the one who, when he delivers these sort of one-liners, it's always like a dire situation. Like, there's no fight between us, the fight is of the dead. You know what I mean? That sort of fits along with the schematic elements of Jon Snow's character. So if I had to guess, I would say the line that states, "It has been a long journey and there's no coming back from this," I 100% pin that on Jon Snow. There's a few other characters that I could see saying this along the lines of Bran Stark. We do know that he's Bloodraven. We know he's the Green Seer and he's the ultimate warning or foreshadowing of what's to come for these characters and what's happened in their past that sort of established who they are. So Bran giving that dire warning of saying it's been a long journey, there's no coming back from this, that also fits in line with Bran Stark. Now this next line can be one of two things, either the most credible line because it's kind of obvious who's saying it, and if they don't show Jon Snow in the trailer as this line is coming up, then that's kind of horseshit. But also, it could be the where it all falls apart because it's too obvious of a line. And the fact that they would give away Jon Snow finding out his lineage in the trailer, I don't know if they would do that. But anyway, the line goes as follows. "I'm a dragon, my queen. I've thought my whole life to be a wolf, when this entire time I've been a dragon in wolf's clothing." Like I said, that could either go one of two ways. I'm more so leaning on the line of that's completely voided from the trailer. Now, I'm not saying that Jon's not going to say it in this show, although he highly won't, but that's definitely not going to be in the trailer. For the main reason being is because Jon Snow has not found out his true lineage on the show, and I honestly don't know if he ever will find out before he dies, unless he comes back and he's sitting on the Iron Throne. I think the best option is to not tell him his true lineage. Like for Bran and Sam to sort of keep it between themselves, especially once they find out that Jon Snow and Daenerys have consummated the relationship, #both sex. It would derail Jon's entire journey. Now, he's still focused on killing the dead, but something like telling him that he's been banging his aunt, that might make him break away from all previous ties and relationships that he has with Daenerys, and this could cause her to leave his side and maybe go and conquer the kingdom. Now, I know I'm jumping super ahead there, but there's no way that Jon Snow says this line in the trailer, or even at any point in the show for that matter. You guys let me know if you think this is legitimate down below. I'll say it one more time. "I'm a dragon, my queen. I've thought my whole life to be a wolf, when this entire time I've been a dragon in wolf's clothing." Sorry for my shitty Jon Snow northern accent there, but yeah, let me know if you think this line's legitimate down below. And then last but not least, we come to the very finale line of the trailer, and this has a little bit of side information that goes along with it too, but the line reads as follows. "If we don't defeat him, even in death after life, then no one can." Now, this part of the trailer is supposed to be said by Beric Dondarrion. So not only does this supposedly confirm that he survives the events at Eastwatch, but that he somehow makes it until relatively close towards the end of the season. Now, in this scene, it is said to be a face-off between the Night King and Jon Snow. And just as those words are delivered, the last, "if we can't defeat him even after death," then this is where the trailer sort of cuts to black, but right before that, Jon Snow runs straight towards the Night King, holding a sword that does not look anything like Longclaw. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to this guy. Even if this is 100% fake, this still has been an insanely amount of fun to make this video and just sort of thinking about how this trailer goes. Like I mentioned in my last video, we're less than 6 months away from Game of Thrones Season 8 premiering. The main reason that we know this is because they are going to be in line for the Emmys of next year, and the deadline cutoff for that is around April. So we are definitely going to be getting a trailer within the next 3 months, 100% for sure. I don't know if they're going to do it before this year ends, although I would love them to, because like I said, that would be the best Christmas gift ever. Also, my birthday is January 1st, so it would be like a double whammy present. But I don't know how early last year they released the trailer before the season came out. If I'm not mistaken, that trailer came out in April, and then the season premiered around July sometime. So that gives us about another 3 months at most to wait for this trailer. In my opinion, the most non-credible line that was given to us was the one with Jon Snow mentioning how he's been a wolf or a dragon in wolf's clothing this entire time. You know, some of you guys in the comment section may like that line. I'm not saying I don't like it. In my opinion, it's the least credible line out of all of these. And then my favorite line, or, you know, my most potential for it being legit, is the very first one. I can't believe you would do such a thing. Our house depended on you. I directly, in my mind, seeing Cersei saying this to Jaime. But let me know your favorite line down below. I'll read them all through 1 through 5 real quick again. The first one is, I can't believe you would do such a thing. Our house depended on you. Second one is, those who can't fight, take. Third one is, it has been a long journey, and this time there's no coming back. The fourth one is, I'm a dragon, my queen. I've thought my whole life to be a wolf, when this entire time I've been a dragon in wolf's clothing. And then the fifth and final line, and this is most likely my second favorite one, is, if we don't defeat him, even in death after life, then no one can. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this person obviously is into the fan fiction because we all want Jon Snow to be the one who kills the Night King, to have some massive face-off with him and hopefully destroy him. So that's where that, you know, sort of line, life after death, comes in. I'm super excited about that if we do get to see a scene similar to that in this trailer for Game of Thrones Season 8, the finale season. Alright, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could please slap a like on this video. The like goal is going to be 427. I really do appreciate you guys watching these videos, as they're a lot of fun to make, and they fend off the long nights. It has been a long wait for Season 8. But anyway, make sure you're subscribed, and then make sure you have your notifications turned on so that way you get alerted every single time I drop a Game of Thrones video throughout this long nights. Also, super special shout out to every single member of my Patreon family over on patreon.com/SirHuntsReviews. Without you guys' all love and support, I would not be able to do this. I want to thank everyone so much for watching. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunts Long Nights Reviews.